It's actually a beautiful view because you're down a little bit lower than street view. And so what you really do get is the beauty of the water that I think a lot of people in Kerrville don't take advantage of. Like I said, I'm a photographer, so I'm fascinated by the reflection of the water and the trees, the grass.
The Texas Hill Country is one of the most beautiful places on earth. In this podcast, recent Hill Country resident Tom Fox visits with the people and organizations that make this one of the most unique areas of Texas. Join Tom as he explores the people, places, and their activities of the Texas Hill Country.
Today I have Kelli and James Wright of the Hill Country River Rat and Cowboys and Angels Retreat. Today we are on location, and I have James and Kelli Wright, and the location is the Cowboys and Angels Ranch. Did I get that right?
Cowboys and Angels Retreat.
Retreat.
Yeah, but it is a ranch.
It is a ranch in Mountain Home, just west of Kerrville, off of I-10. And we're here to talk about that business endeavor. We're here to talk about the River Rat. We're here to talk about the love these guys have of Mountain Home, Kerr County, and the Hill Country, and whatever else we can come up with. First of all, thank you guys so much for taking the time to visit with me today.
Thank you so much for coming out and visiting us.
James, let me start with you because you're the one that contacted me. So tell us about the Kerrville River.
All right. So I'm trying to be enthusiastic about this because it's been so hot lately. What it is a 25-foot vessel that has 12 pedal bikes on it, 6 on each side of a bar. And it's extremely easy to pedal. It's under a canvas for the heat and the rain and the nasty weather we sometimes have. So basically, it's a pedal boat. It's a lot like the pub crawl cruises that you see in the big city with them partying and driving down the street and pedaling these vehicles. A lot of people have seen that. But if you haven't, if you can imagine, that's what it is, except it's on the water. So we have a little bit on them, and that is that we can jump in the water and we can cool off, and you can't really do that on the streets of San Francisco. It's what it is. It's 2 hours. It's a BYOB. You can bring your own beverages and put in our cooler. We prefer because that way we don't have coolers everywhere. Alcohol, sometimes mostly just beer and wine. We furnish the water, the ice, the cooler, and so we basically push off there at Kerrville behind Canes and Chili. There's a boat ramp. And we push off there, and then we go down towards a little favorite restaurant of ours, 1011 Bistro. There's a plug for you, Bistro. We go down there, and then we go to the spillway. And then whenever we turn around, we usually have the wind at our back. So then what we do is we just chill. So we'll play karaoke on the boat. We'll play music. We'll have a couple of soft drinks, and then we'll jump in the water. Or we can throw a rod out to go fishing. So there's lots of options. It's a lot of fun. 2 hours, it's a lot of fun. $40 per seat at this point.
You said the river? What river?
The Guadalupe River downtown in Kerrville, Texas, Hill Country.
So what either inspired you to take this on, or the business opportunity you saw, or did you just go crazy and say, let me do something wild?
I went crazy and let's do something wild. So what inspired me and my wife Kelli is that we were just sitting there on the Guadalupe River one evening, and this place called Pier 27. You're welcome, Josh. So this place called Pier 27, it's a little bar on the water, and we're sitting there and we're thinking there is nothing happening on this river. And I'd already exercised this idea going to take it to the Dominican, and was in the process, and then the Dominican, basically St. John's got wiped out, and it blew my deal. But so whenever I saw this, I thought, there's nothing going on down here. We need to bring some action to Kerrville, bring some money to Kerrville, stay and play under the 2050 plan. And I started building the. So when I started building the boat, then it started piquing a lot of interest. And we thought, this might work out pretty good. Here we are.
So who regulates boats on the Guadalupe
It's a touchy spot. Of course, Texas Parks and Wildlife regulates it. The UGRA regulates it, and the Parks and Rec in Kerrville regulate it, and the city of Kerrville regulates it. That's pretty much it. It's not a big deal. It's just a cool adventure everybody needs to check out.
But I think you're building a second boat that is going to be solar powered. Could you tell us about that?
That one's going to be a little different. It is still going to be pedal powered. Both boats will be solar, 100% eco-friendly, no emissions at all whatsoever. This second boat is going to be a pedal power, but it's also going to be about 50% electric. So it's going to be solar powered and also pedaled at leisure to keep the boat moving. It's going to be a little different. It's not going to have 12 bikes on it like the other one. I'm figuring probably 6, 3 on each side of the bar. And it'll be the same rules, as the first boat has.
So we have pretty temperate weather here in Kerrville, although it can get cold in the winter. Do you hope to be able to offer these rides most of the year?
Absolutely. Texas is Texas. If you don't like the weather, stick around. It will change. I think if weather permits us, we should be able to go maybe all the way to December. I think we're going to be shut down January, February, and then cranking back in March. It's a little cool. And hopefully get known enough by making this presentation that people will understand and know where it is for next year in spring and summer.
Any chance of a Christmas?
It's a good idea. Thanksgiving cruise, a coffee cruise, read your newspaper cruise. For the older folks here, they probably want to leave out a little earlier, maybe 7. Right now our time is 11 o'clock is our first cruise on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and our last cruise is at sunset. And one of my guys that is a captain said, we need to do a 7 o'clock because we're in an older environment. So it's a little cooler then. The water's glass. And bring your coffee or your Cosmo or your sangria, whatever you have to drink or whatever to enjoy it. So I've been down there at 7:30 in the morning to 9 o'clock in the morning, and it's like glass. So it's a good cruising time.
So I have been to all of the dining establishments you referenced. One of my favorites is Chili's, and then a big fan of Starbucks on the river. Yeah. But tell us, what's the experience like, not so much being on the river, but the experience of looking back on the banks? Whereas when I'm at Starbucks, I'm looking at the river. So what's it like from the river view looking into town as you go down and back?
At the restaurants and stuff like that.
All right, can I take that one?
Yeah, you probably should.
All right, I'm the photographer. I'll give you the photographer's viewpoint of that one. It's actually a beautiful view because you're down a little bit lower than street view. And so what you really do get is the beauty of the water that I think a lot of people in Kerrville don't take advantage of. Like I said, I'm a photographer, so I'm fascinated by the reflection of the water and the trees, the grass. You'll see fish. We see a bunch of turtles. You'll see birds out there. It's a really beautiful, calming trip, actually. We do have music playing, people sing, people have a good time on the cruise, but sometimes I think it's really wonderful just to get out there on the water and to realize up there on the road, we're busy, we're bustling, we're on the city, we're running around, we're getting our errands done, we're doing all that during the day, and just a few feet below all of that, take the time to stop, enjoy, breathe a little bit, and see what we have here in Kerrville. And I think people in town do not take the opportunity to do that. It's right here, it's in our backyard, and it's a wonderful thing. I have taken a tremendous amount of pictures from the boat, so it's great.
In another life, I did a lot of river rafting cruises and tours, and the thing that I always appreciated was on the boat, the view was never the same.
Nope.
No matter how many times I went down that stretch of river, it was always different. And is that the experience of the river rat?
Yes, absolutely. The movement of the water is different. The sun is slightly different. You see something different every single time. You turn differently. There are times, actually, it's fun as we've had people preparing for the triathlon. We took a cruise and there were swimmers. I'm like, oh, look, people swimming, preparing for that. You'll see people on the bank. Sometimes there's families up there by the spillway, wave, smiling at the people there. There's people sometimes on the decks waving at us, chatting, we're singing as we're going down the river. So yeah, it's always a different experience. You never really know what you're going to see.
You mentioned some of the aquatic life. What about wildlife on the river? We're in the midst of wildlife.
Yes.
And throughout where I live in Kerrville, we have wildlife through our yard daily. What's the wildlife like on the river?
We don't see as much down next to the water. Most of it is primarily, it's birds and turtles. And then you'll see fish every once in a while. The fish are jumping and things like that. We don't see a lot of, there might be. Oftentimes I think that we're really busy pedaling and laughing. And
I think we'd probably see some in the sunset cruise because the deer are coming down there to get a drink, I would imagine. We haven't seen any yet, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to.
Yeah, they might be coming down.
So what brought you all to Kerrville?
It's you,
mine.
Kelly.
It's mine. Yeah, James points to me. That's an interesting story. James and I got married a little over 5 years ago in Austin, and we came out here in the Hill Country on our honeymoon. I was a teacher, so we just planned a week honeymoon in between star testing and finals. And we came out here, and he really fell in love with the Hill Country. And we went back home, and he said, hey, I want to start looking for property. And I thought, okay, looking is looking. So we came back a week later, and he decided to buy the property. When we came back and looked, and I was a little bit nervous and a little bit unsure, but I jumped on board, and I thought, okay, this is an adventure. This is going to be a fun thing for us to do, and here we are 5 years later. And
Where are y'all from?
I'm originally from Abilene,
Okay.
Brownwood area, and then I was
Not Brownwood area, but Brownwood?
Brownwood, Texas.
Right.
Yeah, I'm originally a Texan, y'all, so 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
And from there?
All right, so from there, I went a lot to just Central Texas and Dallas, Fort Worth, did a little bit in Oklahoma, ended up in Austin as a builder, and 26 years of that. And like Kelly said, when we come out here to this hill country area, I remember riding the motorcycle across over by Medina and looking down over the bridge into that nice, pretty, clear water. And just it's just unbelievably beautiful. Lots of rain, so everything was green. It was real pretty. And I remember just telling Kelly, oh my God, this don't look like Texas. And of course, whenever you get over towards Medina and Bandera and all that on 16, that little road going through there, that's gorgeous. Especially on a motorcycle, it's real popular. And then whenever we started all this Cowboys and Angels stuff, whenever we found the property and I bought it, like she said, it just took off. I just thought, this is our life. Let's do it. Let's get it done fast. So we built all these cabins and the lodge and the venue part, the chapel and everything for weddings. And it just turned out really pretty and cute. Anyway, Kelly can tell you all about Cowboys and Angels. I don't really. That's not my deal.
Well, before we get into Cowboys and Angels, where are you from, Kelly?
Where am I from? I like to tell everybody that I'm a university brat and I'm a Mountain West girl.
I thought you were Irish.
I was born in Utah. My father was an academic, was the dean of the College of Education. So I lived in Utah, New Mexico, and moved around a little bit there. But I've been in Texas for more than 25 years. But I tell everybody, you can usually tell I'm not a native Texan due to the lack of the accent. But I was a high school English teacher
in Austin?
Before we moved out here in Austin. Yes.
What high school?
I was in the Pflugerville School District and in the Leander School District. And right before we moved, I was at Vandergrift High School. I'm a resource English teacher, so I'm special education and English certified.
I'm a professor's kid, so I get it. And my mom taught special ed.
Okay, there you go.
Everybody knows my story of how I got out here, but when did you all move?
2017. So we moved out here a month after we got married.
No changes.
Like I said, we moved quick.
You moved quick. So what led to Cowboys and Angels? First of all, what is Cowboys and Angels Retreat?
Cowboys and Angels Retreat, it's a weekend getaway. We have cabins out here and we have RVs just to get away for the weekend. Couple, if you just need some time by yourself, if you're bringing your family out here, family reunions. We do have a venue for smaller, intimate weddings. So James, 3 years ago, he furbished a beautiful old, it has been 3 years, sweetheart, beautiful house and made a wedding chapel. We have indoor facility here, but we are a high fence game ranch. And I guess it's together. James loves the animals and he loves this open area like this. And the teacher really wants people to see the beauty and to understand. And so I guess what we've created over time is a place where people can come and enjoy things. And I hate to say learn because it's vacation. I don't want you to have to work too much, but I want people to be able to see and to learn and to appreciate. Always a teacher. We've had a number of families come out here and they'll say, our kids don't run and play when they're at home. Oh my goodness, they're outside there. And so we've left it natural for that reason. The kids come from the cities, the people come from the cities. We want a place where you can sit back on your front porch, put your boots up, relax, watch the sunset. I think we experienced that when we lived in the city in Austin. There was so much of the city that was really great and we never experienced it because we were just so busy. Oh, we're so busy with life. There's so many things going on. And so this is a place for you to come and to relax and recharge a little bit.
Are you open year-round?
We are open year-round.
And what's it been like for you all coming out of the pandemic?
We have seen an increase. It's been up and down coming out of the pandemic because all of our cabins are individual and they're 20 feet apart. They all have separate entrances and we're able to keep people apart. We did have business after the initial lockdowns of the pandemic. And then as things opened up in the cities, we saw a little downturn again and then coming up again. I think people are starting to appreciate, again, family time, hopefully, and time with each other. I actually want to put a sign up at our pavilion, and I want to say that we don't have Wi-Fi. Pretend it's 1995 and talk to each other, especially as a teacher. Go ahead and put the phone down. You came out here to spend some time with your spouse, with your family, with your friends, with whoever, and we've tried to create a space where you can really do that and to reconnect. And I think I've become more passionate about with the pandemic and everything being remote and everybody being distanced and everybody being apart. If we have the opportunity to reconnect with the people that are important in our lives, then that's a good thing to do.
One of the things that struck me about Kerrville and Kerr County was the number of different things to do. There's an incredibly vibrant music scene, for instance.
Yes.
There is an art scene. There's limited but some pretty interesting restaurants as well. Obviously, the topography, the nature, the hills, the parks, the river, all of those are great assets, literally open for anyone. Do people tend to take advantage of those when they come here, or do they really just come here to chillax?
I suppose there's a mixture of both of those. People do sometimes ask for recommendations or will give recommendations, places to go, things to see. We try to direct them locally because I think sometimes people don't realize what we have here in Kerrville and the extensive parks that we have here and the things that they can see and just stay within the city. And then the restaurants and the music, because we've seen a real uptick in the amount of live music that you can hear, just not very far away from our front gate. And so we tell people, you know what, you can come out here, enjoy the day out here. You don't have to go very far to enjoy something really fun. And yeah, we usually try to meet every single guest that comes out to the property. James and I both do, and connect with them, make sure they're okay. They know that we're glad that they're here. We're real excited to see them, to meet them and have a conversation and let them know what we want to share with them.
Could you tell us maybe who or two or three of the clients or customers or folks who came out here the furthest?
We have had, let's try to think. Last year we had a family from England that came out here. They loved the whole cowboy idea. We had guests from Germany. We've had a number of RV guests that have been from Canada.
Had some Philippine people once and Japanese. It was interesting.
Yeah, we do get a certain amount of international travelers. And then we do get the bulk of our travelers are from the state of Texas, but we do get other people from the South, from Louisiana, from Alabama, things like that. So I would say, yeah, a couple of international guests. It's been kind of funny. They're fun to talk to.
Oh, I'm sure they are. Anything I haven't asked that I should have?
Oh, goodness. I don't know.
What about you, James?
What does Kerrville have to offer that Fredericksburg doesn't?
I'm not a big fan of Fredericksburg.
I'm not either.
I think the music's better here. I think it is. I don't want Kerrville to turn into Fredericksburg, so I'm happy to be here and not there.
Yeah. We try to
I
support all of
thought
the
you were
people.
going to say the Hill Country River Rat and the Cowboys and Angels is, like I was talking about earlier on the pub crawl thing. The boat deal is really something I hope that everybody will enjoy and experience because it is a little venue that's different than anything that you've ever done. And because it's out there on the water, any day on the water is better than a day in the office.
Amen.
There you go.
Amen. And I hadn't thought about the point you made, Kelly, in terms of the angle of viewing from the river.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right. You're far below grade for the highway and the streets and even the restaurants. And so that's going to be really interesting. And you're absolutely right. Any day on the river is better than a day not,
Yeah.
especially on the Guadalupe. What I want to end with, could each one of you tell us where to get more information, the Kerrville River Rat and Cowboys and Angels?
Okay, I'm doing the River Rat, Kelly.
Okay.
All right, so the hillcountryriverrat.com is how you go to book a seat on the boat or a group of 8 to 12. We prefer 12 because it's just a lot more fun. The phone number for the River Rat is 830-343-4289. You can also email us if you have any questions additional to that at hillcountryriverrat@gmail.com. I am mostly your captain. My name is James, by the way. And Kelly, go ahead.
All right. Cowboys and Angels Retreat. You can go to cowboysandangelsretreat.com. That is our website. You can look at all kinds of pictures there. We do have a booking page. You can see all of our cabins. You can see all of the amenities on the property, everything that we have there. Phone number is 830-866-3442. About said the wrong phone number there. I'm getting them confused. We have too many phone numbers going on there. You can also find us on Facebook, and it is Cowboys and Angels Retreat at Hill Country Getaway. We do post a tremendous amount of pictures of the wildlife out here and activities and things on our Facebook page as well.
I wanted to thank you guys for taking the time to visit with me. It's been great to come out here and meet you all and hear about what you have going on. I hope we can continue this conversation.
That's
Excellent.
Great. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
This is Tom Fox again. We're going to link to Kenneth O'Neill's website and his book and LinkedIn profile in the show notes. So I hope you will check all of those resources out. He's got some really great ways for the compliance professional or other business executive to look at things. I hope you will join me for another episode of the Hill Country Podcast. I'm preparing some fall episodes, and I know you will enjoy some of the upcoming guests as I explore the people, places, and things in what I think is the most special part of Texas. The Hill Country Podcast was recently honored with Communicator Awards in Storytelling and Best Local Podcast. Thanks for listening.